Kick and chase by Mullins. Kick and chase again by Mullins. It'll be a miracle. Oh, it is a miracle. Fafita tries to crash his way over. He does. Fafita got the ball over the line.
Hunter's kick is over the sideline for a 40-20.
Yeah, g'day legends and welcome to 40-20 Sports. Round 7 in the bag. We've had a bit of a look back at what's going on there. Sorry for the late video coming in today. Unfortunately, had sick kids, sick misses, everything's going on at our house, so had to be on call for that. We'll have a bit of a look at our round 8 team list for today and who we think are buy, hold, sells. Hopefully you get to have a look at this before the Thursday games. I know there's a 2:30 game, nice and early, so hopefully you can get this either late tonight or early tomorrow. Have a bit of a look at what we think are your best purchases and best sells for the week. Round 7, congratulations to Matt, coach of the Munter Unted. I'm not sure if that's a spelling typo, but yeah, Munter Unted, well done, big fella. Score of 1,312, so huge round for that. Best of the best, still top of the 40-20 comp. He has moved into 8th spot overall, so wishing you nothing but the best, mate, for the year. 8,017 he is on. If anyone is looking to catch up around those ranks, that is where we're sort of marketing around. The Ferrets, we got 1,065 this week. We cannot take a fucking trick, I tell you. Ranked 8,800. Just every week it seems as though one of our players gets absolutely rissoled with an injury or a head knock or something early in the rounds, and it's always a superstar. Kalen Ponga gone for us. 13 or 14. Either way, not good. We just need a week where we don't have any of these injuries. You know, I've been done by Teddy, Hammer, Garrick now, and now fucking Ponga. So, look, I'm still happy with my team. 8,800th with all those injuries that were rattling off isn't that bad. So, fingers crossed we can start moving along a little bit. And hopefully we can just get a good week where we're injury-free. We'd be flying if it wasn't for that. But I'm sure everyone is in the same position. I'm sure everyone is getting hammered by these injuries and whatnot. So we won't harp on for that. Anyway, we'll get stuck into it. Round 8, the Thursday, 2 o'clock game over at Mount Smart Stadium. This I am hearing... Go Media Stadium it's called now. But this is... I'm hearing that the Anzac tribute that they're going to do at the start of this game is going to be something phenomenal, something we've never seen before. So I'm really excited to look into that. First game, Arvo game, maybe a couple of beers deep. It'd be awesome to watch. From the Warriors, Chance Nickel-Klokstad, he is a very popular buy this week. I know there's a bit of a tussle there at fullback now that Kalen Ponga is gone. A lot of people will be looking to trade in players. His base, Chance's base, has been phenomenal. Has not scored a try this year. I think he's only got 3 try assists. And he's 724k. He's break even at 51. So he should shit that in, you would think, against the Titans as well. Averaging 87 over the 3 rounds that he's played. His fantasy stats, he got 96 against Manly in round 6, which is his second game back. In that game, he got 57 points just in runs. His runs against St. George, 45 points just in runs. And his runs against Souths in his first game back was 39 points in runs. The man is a freak. Can he keep it up? I have no idea. I like him. I just don't think that my team is suited to what I'm going to be able to do with a bit more extra cash under my belt and go a different fullback that I'll be talking about later. I think he's a fantastic buy. I think their run's super easy. They have the Titans into the Knights. They are going to be super handy to have around that origin period, which is going to be really good for owners. If you've got the cash there and you're looking for a player and you base your team around people that have high bases, you cannot go wrong with Chance Nickel-Klokstad. Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, he is a popular buy as well. Last couple of weeks, people have been trying to get him in. That slingshot that they use on the right-hand side, I don't know if anyone's really seen that movement and why that edge is so good. They stand in so far infield when they start it, and then they slingshot themselves out. So Dallin is running at top speed when he hits the ball. It's really good to watch. It's really cool if you watch them set it up for 3 or 4 plays before, tackle 2 or 3. You watch them. They'll drag inside and they use that, and it's just so unbelievably well executed when you got Sean Johnson, Chance into Dallin. It's very, very impressive. Rocco Berry, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is another one. Now, look, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck sort of been doing things that you would think Roger would be doing. His last couple of games have been a bit underwhelming. I think a 47 last week. He's got a break-even of 83. He is averaging 59.4, so just a tick under 60 for the year. I think with this easy run, I think you've got to stick with him. I think you've got to stick with him for the Titans and the Knights games. Look to move him on if your plan is to move him on at all. After that, he's got the Roosters, Penrith. But still, over the bye period, super handy. He's no chance of coming up against the Origin period, obviously being a Queenslander. Just the last couple of weeks, his points have gone down a bit. I don't know if the excitement of being back in the NRL, he sort of said, I love taking all these hit-ups and all these runs. Maybe the excitement of being back in the NRL is sort of worn off a little bit. He's still got 28 points in runs and 31 the week before, 29 the week before that. His base is unreal. So as far as CTWs go, his base is still really, really good. So I'm just a bit worried about the attacking opportunities coming his way. Tamare Martin, fabulous football player. Although he just isn't as dominant as what Luke Metcalf was, I don't think, in this team with Sean Johnson in there. So I'm a little bit worried about the ball flicking out to the left-hand side there for RTS. Sean Johnson looks to play this one, but I'd be keeping an eye on him. They look to set to rest him for the next couple of weeks, somewhere in there with that Achilles problem. Adam Fanua-Blake, another 70 points. He is smashing out the minutes. Last two games, he's got a 73 and a 70 for the minutes. That's his minutes, sorry, not his points. Looks to be the number one front row forward in the game, I think, this year. If he gets those minutes, if he gets anywhere around the 60 to 65 minutes, lock him in. Unbelievable stuff. Now, we've got Jacob Laban, or however you say that name. I'm sorry, I'm fucking butchering it. I'm sure I am. Interesting one. For a bit of a cheapie, I am going to steer clear of him just because I think he's only there. Kurt Capewell is out with a throat injury, I believe. As soon as he's right, he'll come straight back in that squad, and he doesn't have a very good break even. Apart from that, there is not much going on. There's a young bloke debuting, Maoi or something. I'm so sorry if I fucking butchered that as well. Zion, we'll call him. He's starting for his debut. For the Titans, AJ Brimson, he is a tick under 560k. I would be interested in AJ Brimson if it was not for the run that they have coming up and the fact that their bye schedule is bloody horrendous. I think he's a decent buy, though. I've been looking at him the last couple of weeks, just having a bit of a look about him. He's break-even 60, so you can probably give it another week. I think over there at Go Media Stadium is going to be a bit tricky for the Titans this week. Although it is Anzac round and they could get up for it if they fucking put their mind to give it. This is such a talented team that just week in, week out, they shouldn't be getting butchered like they have been. The run for him, though, is concerning. The Warriors into the Storm, into the Cowboys. After that, it is Newcastle, then Brisbane, then the bye period, which is a bit horrendous for him. Well, I think AJ Brimson might come into contention around Origin, maybe. He does play round 16 and 19 against the Warriors and Parramatta. Whether he still has the fullback jersey there or not, it'll be pretty interesting to see what happens. Although I do like him. I think he's a good purchase, a good little pod. He's very cheap. If you can move a guy like Schiller straight onto AJ Brimson, I think that'd be a decent go. But I'm sure there's other options out there that you can probably use Schiller to go to a certified gun keeper for the year. Other than that, Tanner Boyd and Kieran Foran, they are in the halves again. Jamin Jolliffe, he's been killing it. He's been really good at front row forward. Has been scoring tries at will, but still doing really, really well. Dave Fafita, tip to start again. I've owned Dave Fafita for the last 2 weeks. Last 2 weeks, they've given me nightmares by him coming off the bench, and he scored 71 and 86. So, I hope he starts. I just hope he starts and gets 80 minutes, and he can go anywhere from 70 to 130. So, the difficult thing for Jacob Laban will be that I'm pretty sure David Fafita will be running at him. So, what a way to start your debut. Hopefully, Desi Hasler puts him in and starts him. That would be lovely for my team. The next one is the all conquering game. It is probably the best game of the normal season, besides maybe a Roosters-Souths game. It's Anzac clash between the Dragons and Roosters. Dragons have been doing really well. I'm really impressed with the Dragons, especially last week against the Warriors. So I think we may have to switch our mindset on the Dragons. I still think they're going to leak a heap of points. But it's the Anzac Day round, so anything can happen here. Zach Lomax, again, he's up over 800k now. If you didn't jump on him, I still like it. I still like him there. It looks like Ravalawa is out this week, so Zachy Lomax is going onto the bench and Jack Bird is coming in to the centres, which is good for Zach Lomax owners. I think him starting on the wing, I've looked to boost, but I just can't seem to get him this week. I'm going to have to let Zachy Lomax go. Much more appealing in the centres, in the wing, than the centres, although he did brain it with an 80-something last week. Cole Flanagan, Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt's been going exceptional, 118, I think. I've probably got that wrong, but that's just off the top of my head. 100-something plus anyway for Benny Hunt. He is the backbone of that Dragon squad. Fingers crossed he keeps that up. Owners, massive pod there. If you've got him, you would not change him for the world, I tell you. The forwards, look, not a great deal going on there. Tom Eisenhuth, he's been a bit of a revelation, only getting the 60 minutes in at lock, but still he's been braining it. A couple of people in my competition have him, and they cannot speak highly enough of him. Jack DeBellin still coming off the bench, getting 50s and 60s. He could be a bit of a watch coming into the Origin period, I think. He could really hit his straps. I would love to see him in the starting squad somewhere. If he gets starting front row at any stage, I'd be jumping all over him. For the Roosters, Teddy, look, if you own Teddy and you've kept him throughout that whole head knock, the games in the wet against the likes of Penrith and stuff, I honestly think it's time to move on. If you can downgrade to a Reece Walsh or Pappenhausen sort of thing anyway, I'd be looking at doing that, moving that sideways if that's the case, or upgrading him for someone like a Turbo, Drinkwater sort of guy. I think you've got to get off Teddy. Started the year phenomenally, but just doesn't seem to be playing with the same gusto that he has. We do have a couple of late changes in here as well for these boys. Daniel Tupu is out, so Suali'i moves to the Sting, I believe. The team list here that I've got isn't actually the official team list, so I'm going in a bit blind there. Dom Young comes in. He's one to watch, I think. I think over the next couple of weeks, if he goes down in price, that'll be a really good pickup if you can get him for about 500k, depending on how he goes in the next couple of games. How he looks, he looked phenomenal. Everyone raced to get him in after that big 150, 160 score. Keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him. If he dips down in price, jump all over him. Angus Crichton, last week, a little bit disappointing, although he did come up against the Storm. Oh, I love everything about him. I think the Gus Bust is back. 50-something points in base. Phenomenal. He's every chance of getting a try, getting a line break. Huge work rate. Offloads, tackle busts. He seems to be back to his very best. I'm super happy with my purchase for under 500k. So I think he'll be up around 700k by the time that Origin sort of comes around, and then it'll be too late to get him in by then. Victor Radley is one of the guys that's out, so Connor Watson goes into the 13. That's the other one. Michael Jennings, he goes into the starting side in the centres, and Su'a Wong comes onto the bench. Probably gives more headaches than answers. I'm not really sure how they're going to run Nafua White, Egan Butcher, Terrell May, and Su'a Wong bench. I would like to think that Terrell May gets more minutes, but then again, I am so unsure of his minutes at the moment. I don't know what's going on there. Like, him only getting 30 minutes a game is a bit confusing. Usually, sometimes you see this when rugby league-wise, the player isn't going that well, but Supercoach-wise, they're going well, and all the Supercoach guys get on it and they go, oh, how come he can't? Surely he should be getting more minutes than that, but rugby league-wise, he's phenomenal. Like, he's one of the best front rowers in the game. He should be pushing for an Origin jersey, and he still only gets 30 minutes. Like, he can go for 50, 60 minutes. He's got a massive eye float. He's got a massive work rate. I just don't understand how he can only get 30 minutes. That's not even from a Supercoach point of view. That is strictly just from a rugby league point of view. I can't understand it. I can't understand what's going on with Terrell May. Whether he's a bit on the nose, the May boys have got a bit of a history of being a little bit naughty around the edges, so that could also be a bit of a thing going on there. Anyway, the Storm and Rabbits. The Rabbits are in fucking trouble, I tell you. Coming up against Melbourne in Amy Park, I think there's a thing there that they've never won down there, or it's 16 games in a row where they haven't won. It's a phenomenal record. Fat chance they're beating it this week. I tell you, the Storm are running hot. The Rabbitohs are running like a glass of iced water. Anyway, for the Storm, Ryan Pappenhausen. Now, look, I think there's a lot of talk about Reece Walsh coming in, and everyone is jumping on the Reece Walsh train, and I get it. I'm probably looking at being one of the guys that does that as well. The guy that I do want, but I can't afford it, I'll get to my trades later, but the guy that I was actually more keen on is Ryan Pappenhausen. 679k, he's got a break-even of 83. His season average is 69, so just a tick under 70. His rounds that he's had have been super hard. He's had Penrith, New Zealand, Broncos, and the Roosters. Out of the first 7 games, they're the games he's had. The Doggies, he got sin bin and still pumped out 75. The Newcastle game as well. Newcastle got 78, and he was surrounded by the halves partners that didn't have a very good game. The Storm in general didn't have a very good game. I think he is ready to explode. I think his next couple of games, he's got Souths, Gold Coast, Sharks at Amy Park, Parramatta, Manly. Coming into the bye round, he's going to have 13 off, but everyone that has played the game long enough, I'm sure. Last year, I found round 13, 16 and 19 were nowhere near as hard as rounds 14, 17 and 20. Trying to get the full 17. So in the bye rounds, you only need the 13 players. In the games after, you still need your best 17. I cannot see him going terrible. His run in the bye periods is round 14, he has the Knights, the Warriors, 16, he's got the Dolphins, 17, Canberra, 18, West Tigers, round 19, he has the bye, Roosters in round 20. Now, look, I am so high on that. He will probably come into my team regardless, I think. I think I'm looking at Reece Walsh, but I think regardless, coming into the Origin period, I'll probably be running Ryan Pappenhausen as my fullback. I can't make it happen this week. I can with a boost, but then I do not want to get an absolute spanner in for a boost. I don't want to drop a player just to use a boost. I don't think that's going to be beneficial to my team. I think I'll run with a cheaper fullback than Ryan Pappenhausen, and then we'll run from there. I think I love it. I love him there. I honestly see a world where Nick Meaney may not be in the centres for long. His defence has been pretty average. But yeah, Ryan Pappenhausen I'll be keen on. I think he'd nearly be my pick at fullback if that was who you were going to go, unless you have unless you're going to Tom Trbojevic. Anyway, we've got Munster and Hughes. Hughes has been really good. Munster had a bit of a quiet week. I'm still a bit concerned about his groin, but still, he could go huge in a game like this. Big Nas is back again. Really good for Harry Grant owners there. Harry Grant, again, only averaging 60-something, a little bit under 60, I think. I think he is ready to explode. This easy run that he's going to come through, I think is really going to benefit him, having Nelson back as well. He's been getting the minutes, been playing 80 minutes, which has been really good for him. Yeah, I just think Harry Grant's going to go on a bit of a string of games where he's going to finally prove to everyone why he's the best hooker in the game. Sean Blaw has been really impressive as well there for the Storm. Getting the 80 minutes, really good, can't fault it. I think if you're running Elias Katoa, probably can't run Elias Katoa and Sean Blaw in the same stanza, but still really good Sean Blaw. His numbers have been really good. I think him being outside Cam Munster you think Katoa's got it good being outside Hughes. I think Blaw's got it just as good being outside Munster, so cannot fault that. Joey Chan has got a negative break even as well, so he jumps onto the interchange, scored a line break last week, had 5 runs, 5 tackle busts, or 5 runs, 6 tackle busts, something like that. So I think the middle's his spot. If he can come in and get 30 to 35 minutes, pump out 30, we can look to move him on next week to someone else, and we'll see what happens there. The Rabbitohs, Jai Gray wins the fullback spot still. He looks really good, actually. I liked what I saw from him in his first grade debut. Got a bit of a sniff of him in the Charity Shield. He also looked really good there. But yeah, Jacob Gagai, anyone who held on to Jacob Gagai, 204k, he gets back into that side. Really good to see. I'm pretty happy with Jacob Gagai there. We'll have to see what happens when Latrell Mitchell comes back, but if he can lock down that wing spot, he could be a nice little downgrade for players. Cody Walker, Dean Hawkins, they said to be in the halves. Shaq Mitchell, who just re-signed with the Rabbits, congratulations to him. He's built up into the starting squad. Now that Tavita Totola seems to be out for an extended period. Cookie, he comes back. I'm still not looking at him, but yeah. Other than that, not much going on. We've got Jai Arrow coming onto the bench. You know, if he can go down a couple of clicks coming onto the bench, losing those minutes, and then eventually coming in for Jacob Host, he could be an option. For the Friday game, 8 o'clock, Manly Seagulls up against Parramatta. Tom Trbojevic. If you are looking for a player to go Ponga to, or Teddy to even, Tom Trbojevic is your man. He is averaging 80-something points there. His next 2 games are at 4 Pines. He's got a nice little draw coming into Origin. They need to use him a little bit more, I think. I think they're sort of being hampered a little bit by the ball playing that doesn't seem to be going out the back as much. They're really starting to hit their lead second rower players, especially, Hamal Olakawadu. And you can understand it because he is such a dominant force. Cherry Evans is having a lot of success with a bit of short ball to him. And I think Luke Brooks is doing the same with a lot of short ball. He was doing short ball to Ben Trbojevic. Bit of short ball now to Corey Waddell, which is helpful for Corey Waddell owners, if there is any out there. He's so shortly owned. But, yeah, look, I think the game plan is to nearly hit short, because Tommy does create a lot of space. Him just being out the back, just in general, will create a lot of space for those forward-running players. And I think it works really well. As a team, it works really well. For Supercoach, not so much. But anyway, we'll go from there. Looking at the other parts of the team there, Luke Brooks, he is a popular sell. I think that all depends on where you have him. Luke Brooks in the half, if you're looking to go Luke Brooks to a Nathan Cleary, I fully understand it. I'm looking to put Luke Brooks into my 5'8 this week, and I cannot pick anyone who I would trade Luke Brooks for in 5'8. So Munster's got groin issues. Dylan Brown, he was on about 25 to 30 before he scored his try. So there isn't anyone that I'm looking to move Luke Brooks onto. There's no one standing out there, so I'll happily take the 45s to 50 that he keeps pumping out if that seems to be the case. Apart from that, Olakawadu, he is going from strength to strength. He will have an Origin jersey if he keeps this up. So owners beware on that it looks like he will be. He's highly in the talk for an Origin Guernsey, which he should be. He's been one of the best second rowers in the game for the last couple of years. Corey Waddell owners, I doubt there is any. He has a break even of 42. I'll tell you what his ownership is. Here, I will bring him up. His ownership is 0% of teams. 693 teams own him. 487k. Last week got a 42. Barely looked at getting the ball out there, but 80-minute back row. Since he's got 80 minutes, he's got a 71 against Penrith, 67 against New Zealand, and a 42 against the Gold Coast Titans. Now, look, I'm not saying he's a slam dunk. I'm not even saying he's a fantastic buy, but if you're looking to downgrade someone, I think he's worth a shout. He's got a very good run coming up. Origin period coming up. You could do worse than Corey Waddell there, but keep a bit of an eye on him. I'm not saying he's number one buy of the week or anything like that. He's just a guy that I want people to keep a bit of an eye on. For the Eels, look, not much going on there. Dill Brown in the 7. He's still, if you've got him at the 6, you've just got to keep him there because I don't know who you're going to trade him for. Ethan Sanders, he comes in for debut in the 6 jersey. Again, there's just not much going on there for the Parramatta Eels. There isn't anyone that really stands out to buy, that's for sure. Sean Lane got a try last week. You keep him if you've got him. Joey Lussick. Look, if you've got Joey Lussick, I doubt that is your biggest problem in your team. I still think he will get 60-something minutes. Brendan Hands is coming off the bench. Whether he chews into a lot of minutes, he's got 3 big forwards there in Makatoa, Ofahengaue, and Kelma Tuilagi that can cover a lot of positions. Don't freak out. Don't freak out about the Brendan Hands thing. He was there at the start of the year. He didn't really play too much of an impact on Joey Lussick, so just leave him. Surely you've got bigger issues than that you've got to sort of get to. Bryce Cartwright is the big one that is out there. He is out with those rib injuries. He's been suffering with that for the last couple of weeks. Dejan Arce out with a head knock, but still named in the reserve, so I'm not sure how that bloody works. But the big one there is Blaze Talagi. He's been dropped. Again, not a massive headache. I don't think he is someone that you need to get out of your squad straight away. You can probably leave him for a couple of weeks there. He's doing nothing. He's near bottom dollar. I doubt he's going to be too much of a drama for you. Alrighty, West Tigers up against the Broncos. Now, we have got in the back line Solomona Alamalo, I'm not sure how that's said. But Lockie Galvin in the 6 as well. Been really impressed with him. Coming up against Penrith, I expected him to get a 15 or 16 into, being debut rookie year. Still pumped out of 30-something, so I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest, as far as Lockie Galvin goes. Justin Olam, he's come crashing back down to size. I tried to get some people to avoid that. It was just a bit of an anomaly that he was scoring quite well, so yeah, hopefully you avoided that. Stefano Utakamanu, ever since we've told people to buy him, look, he still looks really good. He had a bit of a quiet game on the weekend, but still, I think if you've got him, no stress, although he does look to be in the running for a New South Wales jersey. Madge does have a bit of history with him. Whether he thinks he can get the best out of him in that Blues arena or not is another thing. Look, I'm unsure. I'm unsure how they're going to go with their front row forward rotation for the Blues, but I don't mind him. I think you could do worse, that's for sure. The big one here is the naming in the second row of Samuela Fainu. 335k. He's up 92k already for the season. He has a break even of 37, so he's not going to make an exuberant amount of cash. Last week got 61 against Penrith. He did most of that in base, I'm pretty sure. He had 30 tackles into 20 points in runs, so 50 points in that base. He's got a heap of tackle busting ability, 4 tackle busts and an offload in him. He looks really good. We sort of touched on him at the start of the year, and then he was coming off the bench and wasn't really getting those minutes. He's got a 12 in his rolling average. That's going to fall out after this week. Give it a week. I'm sure there's some big fires to put out. But he is 2RF front row forward. At that sort of cash, he might be around the 360, 370 mark. If Terrell May comes out and plays 20, 30 minutes, not even that, 30 to 35 minutes, and gets you 40 points, I reckon you'll see Samuel Afinu bust 50, 60 points. It'll honestly be nearly a no-brainer if we can move those two around and get a bit of money and a bit of cash and start moving the side around so we can spend a bit of cash elsewhere. But Samuel Afinu, keep him in your black book. I like him. 355k, dual 2RF front row forward. 61 last week against Penrith. I think he's nearly a slam dunk. If he has a good week, if he gets 80 minutes, he is a must-have, I believe. And anyway, he'll be one I'll be looking for. Also, the Tigers. Looking at the Tigers, guys, you've really got to keep a bit of an eye on it because in their bye period, round 13 they have a bye, so they miss out on that. In round 14, I would be flooding in to get Tigers because for the rest of the bye period, they do not have another bye. From rounds 14 to 20, 0 buys. Every other team has at least 2 buys in that time, apart from the Knights. The Knights is the other one with only 1 buy. But to get that run from round 14 to 20, where they can just have their plays in there and you can lock them in for a slam dunk every single week, invaluable. For the Broncos, my man that I am picking, look, I'm not 100% sold on it, but the price tag of 616k, if he was 616k at the start of the year, I would have been telling everyone to jump on it. I would have jumped on it. I would have got everyone else to jump on it. He has a break even of 43. I understand he has a low base, and his ceiling is through the roof as well. But I think with their run that's coming up, I think it looks really good. Their draw to the start of the year has been really difficult for them. I think the added inclusion of Adam Reynolds and Payne Haas coming back can do nothing but help him. I think Payne Haas getting that line, we've seen it. Carrigan gets a good start on, and then Payne Haas usually comes back into that as well, and they get a good little 1-2 punch rolling on with those two guys, and they just create so much space. I really think Reece Walsh, he is either going to score you 100 or 40, but it'll average out. It'll average out and it'll come good. I think he'll do nothing but make money. At $616K, he is going to be the guy that I'm trading in for Ponga, which frees up a lot of cash as well. Frees up nearly $200,000 for me, so make a few other plays elsewhere. I really, really like it. Cobbo and Ezra Mam are both out for this one, but they do get Adam Reynolds. Payne Haas and Brennan Piakura all come back into the throw there, so that's really good to see. I think they're bigger ins than outs. Mam and Selwyn Cobbo also gone for they're only gone for a week, so that's a bit of a win. Brennan Piakura, I'll be looking at getting him in within the next week or two. Depending on how Samuel Fainu goes, though, he could be more of an option there. Xavier Willison, he keeps his spot on the bench despite the return of Payne Haas, so if you have him, well done. I'll be looking to hold on for him for another couple of weeks, and then fingers crossed you can move him on to someone with a bit more cash generation once he sort of peters out and maybe the attacking stats stop. For the late Saturday game, we have the Cowboys up against the Penrith Panthers. Look, the Cowboys shocking last week. Their defense has been terrible. Panthers could put on a motor on them up there. The Cowboys do generally go better up there at Queensland Stadium, but I'm just not convinced. I think they're going to be this year's Cronulla Sharks. I think. Fucking Christ. I think they're going to be flat track bullies. A couple of other podcasters have been talking about that, and it probably bored you to tears with the amount of people that have come out and said that. But honestly, they look like if they come up against a top 8 team, they're going to get trounced. They come up against a bottom 8 team, they look like they're going to beat them by 40. So I think they're in for a bit of a tough assignment on Saturday night with the Panthers. Drinkwater, if you have him, hold on to him. I know he's got a massive BE, but the run is really, really good for the Cowboys there. If you have a look at their draw, they have the Penrith Panthers this week, which is going to be really, really interesting for them because look, you usually see teams bounce back from 40 to 6 drubbings, but I just don't know how they're going to go. But other than the Panthers, after that, they've got the Dolphins, Gold Coast, Souths, West Tigers into the Roosters in the Origin bye. So look, I think in the next couple of weeks, there's going to be some really big opportunities for Cowboys players to go well. I do not think this week is the week, but if you have them, hold on to them. See how they go. Next week against the Dolphins, leading into the Titans, South Tigers, Roosters for the bye. I think that will be the play. If you are looking at trying to buy some of these guys, I would hold off until then. Val Holmes, his base has still been really good. He just, like the goal kicking, hasn't been there because the last couple of weeks they've been getting pantsed, but scored some fortuitous tries the last couple of weeks. He wasn't looking too good, but again, he can rack up a ton of points. If anyone's going to score a try for the Cowboys, it looks likely that it is Holmes. So a bit of a high break even, but leave him in. What else have we got? Finafuiaki, look, I'd be trying to move him on for sure. If you can go a Finafuiaki to a Samuel Fainu this week, if that is the trade you need to make, I think make it. I think Finafuiaki's base is terrible. His upside doesn't seem to be there either. He seems to be really struggling with his attacking points. So yeah, I'm not too keen on him. Ruben Cotter pumped out another mid-50s game again. That just seems to be him. Mid-50s. I want to get Ruben Cotter out of my side and move him on to someone with a bit more of a higher upside. I'm hoping I'll be able to move him on to Adam Fanua-Blake for the bye period, but look, we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. Taumalolo, if there's any Taumalolo owners still out there, he's been moved to the bench. I think that's probably actually better for him. I think this way he won't get those games where he only plays 15 minutes to start. I think he'll come on and get 15 minutes before halftime, maybe 15 minutes after halftime, and he gets about 30 minutes sort of thing. So I think that's probably a better outcome for Taumalolo. Thomas McKaylee, he is bottom dollar. He comes onto the interchange. Really good in the trials. Keep an eye on him. For the Penny Panthers, Dill Edwards, look, a popular buy. And you know what? I can't really talk too many people out of it. I think he's a really good... Look, he's been a superstar while Nathan Cleary's been out, but he is 891k. He's pretty much a straight swap for Kalen Ponga at the moment. Break even of 68. He has a projected score of 100, which is really good. He has 300s already. He's got 116 against Parramatta, 120 against the Roosters, and 119 against Manly. I'm super worried about Nathan Cleary coming back. His goal kicking, he hasn't even made that many points out of the goal kicking. So take the goal kicking aside, he's averaging 12 points a game for goal kicking. Nothing sensational there. Tackle bust is where it's at for him, and runs is where it's at for him. We all know he's got that. We all know he can do that. But the try scoring ability throughout the last couple of weeks and the try assists the last couple of weeks, usually the pass will come from Nathan Cleary. Lately, it's been coming from this man, Dill Edwards. The interesting thing about him now is that he seemed to be suffering from hamstring tightness. Like, look, that could mean nothing, and that could mean it. And then at the same thing, it could mean everything. So, look, I'm not convinced on him. I think he's probably way too high priced for now. I think he is probably a shoe-in for an Origin jersey. I really fully convinced that Dill Edwards is the number one fullback for New South Wales. Teddy probably doesn't make it. So, look, he's a decent buy. If you are that keen on him, I'm more than happy for you to go in, but I would not expect 100s every game out of him. I'd expect him around a 70-point average, 60 to 70-point average for the next couple of weeks. Taylor May. Now, on my Instagram, I actually put in that I had traded Bostock out. The news of Taylor May having the week off, it didn't really sit right with me. I thought, what's the point of trading Bostock out when he's got an opportunity to play? I have to apologise. I didn't put anything on Instagram saying, I'm reversing this trade. It was very last minute. It was right before the game started for the Panthers that I did it. Paul Alamotti ended up coming in for Taylor May. I made the trade. I didn't make a big announcement about it because this is how keen I was on Bostock last week. Last week, I didn't even play Bostock. I had Bostock on my bench, not even in my reserves. So I didn't think too much about it because I wasn't even going to play him. I didn't play him, and then he bust out to 131. So fucked me there. But Taylor May, look, he really needs to pull his fingers out for owners. He's been a little bit subpar. Look, I didn't want to trade him out, but I needed to make the trades, and this was a gateway to it. Anyway, the big one, Nathan Cleary, in the number 7 jersey, he comes back. He is 100% in my side, without a doubt. I think that they've taken the time with him to really shore up his hamstring. I'm sure that they're doing everything to make sure he is 100%. They didn't need to rush him back. That's why they left him another week. 883k, break even of 80. His projected score is 104. He could topple that and then some up against that defense there of the Cowboys. If you were looking to wait another week, I could probably understand it. Those who have waited this whole time, I hope it hasn't been at the detriment of your side, because those weeks, it's been pretty testing the couple of weeks that he's been out. But look, I can't imagine a world where I don't have him. Now that I've got him and Nico Hines sitting there in my halves, I am fully happy with how that is all playing out. Yeah, really good matchup this week. Really good matchup in the weeks to come as well. After this, he has the Rabbits, Bulldogs. He's got the Warriors up in Suncorp, Sharks, and then he obviously has the Origin period. So I'm pretty happy with that. South Bulldogs, Warriors, Sharks. Good matchup. Every good matchup is a good matchup for Penrith. He's foolproof. He can go 100 against the best of him. So 100% lock him in. The only thing that's really weirding me out a little bit is the trades for him. Like, I understand Luke Brooks a lot of people will be getting rid of him for Nathan Cleary, but I think if you can run Luke Brooks in your 5'8" spot, it's not a bad shout. Drewy Hutchison for Nathan Cleary, that's a really good one. I really like that trade, but yeah, I think there's a lot of other trades that you can make. There's a lot of people doing a bit of left field sort of stuff trying to get him in. But anyway, however you get him in, you got to get him in, I suppose, which is really good. Moving down the line there, Isaiah Yeo, he's been fucking phenomenal. He is absolutely killing it there. Look, it's probably a bit late to jump on him now with all these other people that are coming in, but Isaiah Yeo, he'll go to Origin. But yeah, look, I really like the idea of having Isaiah Yeo in my team at some stage. For the Sunday game, 2:00, Dolphins up against the Knights. Trey Fuller for the Dolphins, really, really good. Just remember that the fucking Parramatta Eagles could barely stand up, let alone try and make a tackle in that game towards the end, and then he ended up just killing them. Throughout there, Jackie Bostock touched on him a little bit, ended up not selling him, but not even playing on him. That is how high I was on him, 130. Huge for people that kept him. 11,200 sort of people traded him out. Very regretful ownership. I would have rather traded him out, to be honest, than have 130 sitting on the pine. That was worse, I believe. But anyway, that's what he's running with. Look, he's a very, very playable option this week as well. Up against the Knights, they've been pretty poor with their defence, and the Titans, they got a real roll on last week. So I'll be playing him this week, which will be good. Max Plath brought in by the masses as well. Look, I think if you need to trade Max Plath if you need to trade Max Plath in to get Nathan Cleary, if that's an avenue that you're going, if you're setting your fullback spot, you didn't have Ponga, Max Plath coming in, I think it's a decent buy. Look, he's got a break even of -6, 382k, so he is still relatively cheap. He has already gone up $102,000. Look, the last couple of games there from Maxi Plath, 70 minutes last week, which is the thing that you want to see. If he can pump out 70 minutes every game, he's a sure thing. I think he's got a really good points per minute. He's sort of sitting around the one points per minute there. Got 1.3 points per minute on the weekend, but that was 2 tries, so I'm not really going to count that game. Around a point a minute, if he plays 70 minutes, he could get 65 points and really be a good little keeper. I'm just a bit concerned that is not what is going to happen. I'm concerned that he's going to go back to these 54 minutes. Look, you could do worse. I like it. The draw's really handy for him. The Dolphins have a really good little matchup coming into the Origin period. The next couple of games, they've got the Knights this week, into the Cowboys, Manly, Tigers, Warriors, Raiders, and then they have the bye in round 14. So, look, if you're looking for a player to bring in, and he is a means to get to Cleary via another avenue, 100%, bring him in. 382k, still nice and cheap. Jump all over him. Other than that, there isn't a lot going on there. Jeremy Marshall-King's doing really good at the 9. If you've got him, well done. Congratulations. But other than that, not a lot that I'd like to see there. From the Knights, number 1, David Armstrong. Don't get too much of a hard on for this bloke. I think we'll be lucky to see him play out 3 games. Fletcher Sharp is the guy from the Knights. If anyone caught the trial of him up against the Sharks team, he absolutely fucking brained it. Apparently, he is the guy that they really want for that number 1 jersey. He looks really, really good, really, really dangerous. He is like a Ryan Pappenhausen sort of guy, reincarnated, skinny sort of mould, really, really quick, backs up well. Local guy as well, so yeah, sorry, I shouldn't be talking about him because David Armstrong, congratulations, mate. Debut, always good to see kids like that coming through, but just take that with a grain of salt because I'm pretty sure that is the guy that they're not as keen on for the number 1 jersey. Greg Marzio only with a 30. Look, he's starting to get to the point where he's going to be really, really cheap, but there's going to be a reason for it. Not having Ponga there now, Whether they still utilise a bit of shape towards that left-hand edge, I'm not really sure. That is Jackson Hastings' side, so it is still a possibility that the left-hand side is still very strong, attacking-wise there. I know Ponga's not there, but they still like this. They've still got points in them. They can still score tries out there. Other than that, not a lot. Dane Gagai comes back into the centres there. He's been basing really well, and his average is up as well. Kai Pearce-Paul, we'll get into him. 80-something again on the weekend. 2 weeks in a row where he has some attacking stats, and he gets up over 80. I'm pretty sure he got 80. He may have got in the 90s. But anyway, look, phenomenal buy for a couple of weeks ago. I'm just bringing him up now. He is now 569k. Look, if you don't have him, 569k, I still think he's a fucking bargain. Break even of 10. You can see what happens when he gets an attacking stat. I'm seeing him as a season-long keeper. I know it was a bit of a junk point there, but I think him running off Hastings, especially with a brand new fullback out the back, I think Hastings will hit him more times than not. Since he's played 80 minutes, he's gone to 67, 65, 50, 82, and 84. His average has gone from 43 up to 62. It's phenomenal stuff. I think the run, Dolphins, Warriors, Tigers, Titans, Dogs again. Doesn't have a bye until round... He has a bye in round 12, but after that, 13, 14, 15, no good for 16. Then they don't have a bye for the rest of the year. I think if you don't have him, I could see a world where you could still get on him, Kai Pearce-Paul. I think he's going to be a season-long keeper, and I'm really, really excited to see what the future holds for him. He's very, very young, very, very new to NRL still, so he's still got a lot to learn. Dylan Lucas, people looking at him in the CTWs, I am pretty sure Tyson Frizzell is maybe a week or two away. That is the news coming out, so if you didn't jump on Dylan Lucas the last couple of weeks, I wouldn't be looking at it. Jaden Brayley, very popular buy. Look, I think if you can go Jaden Brayley, look, if I'm a Lussick owner, I wouldn't be going to Jaden Brayley. If I am a Danny Levi owner, I'm guessing they are all the people that are jumping on the Brails train. He is 337, has a break even of 14. Projected score is 33 for a price rise of 15k. Look, I think that's probably a little bit unders for him. I think you'll get mid-40s to 50 and probably go up 25k. So you'll probably be sitting around 360. I am probably looking at... Look, I don't even think I'm going to go there. Danny Levi seems to have cemented that spot for this 55, 60 minutes for the Canberra Raiders. Am I really worried about the bye period? Canberra Raiders have a very good bye coverage. Am I really worried about wasting a trade on Jalen Brayley if I'm potentially going to get a 30, a 25 or 30 out of Danny Levi to a 45? Like, honestly, it's probably going to be 20 points to me. I doubt I'm going to play Jaden Brayley in any of these other games. You know, a mid-40 seems to be his maximum that he can get at the moment. Whether we see an uptick in that or not is a different thing, but I just don't know if the trade from Danny Levi or a Joey Lussick is worth it to him for the sake of 10 to 15 points a game for one game, realistically. I don't think I'm going to play him. He doesn't be showing enough that I would play him. Still a little bit unsure if he does get the full 80. He seems to be getting 65 to 70, but look, for one game, bringing him in over the bye period, 1 or 2 games where he's going to get 10, 15 more points than a Danny Levi, I probably don't think it's worth it for my team. I'm going to look at stronger options. But yeah, look, you can do worse. A 48, if he keeps punching out 48, he's going to be worth 500k at some stage, and then you can trade him out again. But I'd be looking at going Danny Levi to someone like a Blake Brayley. I think his brother's probably a better option. Also really good in the buys, and he's got the potential to get 60s and 70s. So I'd be looking more in that sort of realm. Other than that, not a great deal going on for that game. For the last game of the round, Raiders versus Sharks, Chevy Stewart had an absolute shocker. Chevy had a shocker. My word, didn't he ever? Look, I still think he's a decent buy. He's bottom dollar. He's going to kick goals. He was kicking goals over Ethan Strange this game, so he's every bit an option. I would just like to get a bit more clarity on when Rapana is coming back, because I think he'll slot straight back in to that number 1 jersey. I think Rapana takes a lot of those catches that Chevy Stewart dropped, so one to watch. Schiller keeps his position there. Albert Hopewade, he is named in the reserves in number 18, so whether we see him come back into the fro, if he doesn't, that is a really good sign for James Schiller owners. Really good sign for James Schiller owners, although I'd be probably looking to move him on in the next couple of weeks anyway. He seems to have topped out in price. He is a popular sell as well, but we'll see what happens. Ethan Strange, again, I'm looking at getting rid of Ethan Strange this week, I think. I like Jamal Fogarty paired with him because he took a lot of responsibility off him. I don't think KO Weeks is going to take that responsibility off Ethan Strange. I think he's going to heap. He's going to put a heap more on him. I'm just a little bit unsure how a young guy goes from being the backup half to going to be the full-time half. I know that probably sounds like it should be an uptick in points, but it isn't always. Simi Sasagi, look, he played really well on the weekend, scored a nice little try. I am not convinced that he is there for the long run. Hardly. I think he maybe moves back onto the bench where he gets 15 minutes, what he's got all his career. So if you're bringing him in for a week, maybe, but I don't like the move. Morgan Smithies. Now, I was surprised that Morgan Smithies didn't get much game time in the last game up there in Brisbane, potentially just because Ricky thought, the game's done and dusted. But yeah, I like the Morgan Smithies option. I'm going to leave him. I'm going to try and hold him in there until after the buys. I think if I can get a guaranteed 45, anywhere from 45 to 60 points, they're going to have a few people out with Origin. I suspect maybe Hudson Young goes there. So yeah, I'm going to hold on to Morgan Smithies there. Other than that, not a great deal. Like I said, Jamal Fogarty out, and yeah, just a lot of pressure on Ethan Strange. I'm a little bit worried about that, so I'll be looking at moving him on. For the Sharks, Kale Iro, look, fucking phenomenal. 53, all in base. No scoring attacks in that absolute romp that was the demolition of the Cowboys last week, which was very disappointing to see. I think if it looks as though he's won that spot for the year, he will be a lock for the year. His base is really good. He is Valentine Holmes reincarnated, looks and playing-wise. Can't fold him. I think he is still a good purchase. Like, do not start to think that, I didn't get on him from the very, very start. I now can't jump on him at all. That's a load of shit. 327k. For guys, 327k, he's still the best price guy there. So if you haven't jumped on him yet, jump on him. His last 2 scores have been 46 and 53. Love it. Love him. He's on that left edge there. Atkinson comes in for the Sharks there. But look, Nico Hines will be playing that much ball. He'll be going lefts and rights, I believe. Ronaldo Mulatalo, he looks to be one of the number 1 guys to pick. Unfortunately, the way he gets the ball seems to be a bit of a cutout ball from fullback or Trindle, which we're not going to have to worry about Trindle anymore. But that's how he seems to be getting his attacking opportunities. 791k, so he is getting up there. I don't think he's a buy. Oh, actually, the next 2 weeks, if you don't get on him this week, I wouldn't worry about it, because leading up into Origin, he has Melbourne, Sydney, Roosters, and then Penrith. So a big couple of games coming up into Origin. There is a lot of talk of Nico Hines going to Origin as well, so whether he doesn't have Trindle and Hines in the halves could be a bit of an issue for him. Nico Hines, 140 coming back. Look, the big one there is Braden Trindle not playing. Braden Trindle was taking a fair bit of opportunities off him. They were using him as sort of equally dominant halves. Nico Hines is going to be controlling absolutely fucking everything. He's coming up against a side that is losing their best player that I believe that they've had for the year in Jamal Fogarty. Nico Hines, 100% locked in as captain for me. He's back, I reckon. I reckon this just proves everything up back to him. I've had a few people ask me on my Instagram, like, what do you choose? Do you choose Nico Hines or Cleary? Hines. 100%. If you are looking to get a halfback in out of Nico Hines and Cleary, Hines is your man. He's been shit in the bed doing nothing and getting 90 points. Like, he's been having shockers jagging a try assist at the end and still getting mid-90 points. So a couple of good attacking opportunities from him on the weekend, and he goes ballistic, 144, awesome to see. Blake Brayley, look, I think he is a guy that should be on your radars. If you are looking to get a guy like Blake Brayley, 626k, got 57 points last week. I think he's an 80-minute hooker. You can't get them everywhere every week anymore. I'm super excited about him actually moving into the bye period. There is a bit of talk about him going to play Origin this year. I hope it doesn't happen because he will probably be the guy I'll be trying to move Danny Levi onto. Hopefully around round 10, 11 and 12, they've got Melbourne, Roosters, Penrith. He can lose a bit of cash, and then I'll buy him in for round 13. Decent scores of 68, 69, 81 and 57. That's the last 4 weeks from him, up against, pretty easy opposition there doing that, but still, he's a tackling machine. He's been making 40 tackles a game minimum the last 4 weeks. He's running the ball a little bit more, scoring tries and that, so I'm a bit of a fan of him, to be honest. He did have 4 errors last week against the Cowboys, so usually he does not get any errors. So mid-60s for him again last week if you take out those error-riddled games. Another guy there that I'm pretty keen on, although he is going a bit average the last couple of weeks, is Britton Nakora. Now, this is a guy, I sort of had him penciled in for a couple of weeks ago, and I was tempted to get him in instead of, I ended up getting in David Fafita. I thought this guy, 100%, I am so keen on him. Although he only pumped out a 41 and he did get a try contribution. He has been getting a lot of base stats in tackles. 46 tackles against the Rabbits, only 26 against the Cowboys. So, look, the run meters aren't there, but I think with a lot more ball coming to the right-hand side with Nicho Hynes, Britton Nikora, 584k, he still has a break even of 80. He could potentially go down even more. So, look, he's just a guy that I think you should be penciling in. Like Blake Brayley. Not a guy that you should bring in this week, but a guy that you need to have in your sights for these bye rounds with the Sharkies having such a good run. Cam McInnes, he only got 40-something, but in an attacking game where they just had all the ball, spread it out wide, and they were scoring. Now the announcement of Dale Finucane retiring, I think he's a decent buy as well. Look, again, not a guy you need this week, but a guy that you should be looking at for the future, absolutely. That is about it, guys. That wraps out our Round 8 coverage. I'm sorry this is coming in late. We've had a heap going on with the family, been a bit crooking out. Our league code, sorry I missed that at the start as well. The league code is 726638, over 600 people in that. Look, we're going to start doing a little bit more. I think next week I'll start doing a little bit more announcements on people that are winning. We're going to start doing some giveaways. We've got the shirts in. We've got the stickers in. We've got the stubby coolers in. We've got some stuff there. We're going to be looking at really starting to ramp up some stuff there for 4020 and the competitions we got in there. Anyway, guys, that is it. Oh, no, sorry, my trades. Bloody hell, I nearly forgot my trades. I did that last week, I think. I buggered up not saying them. My trades this week, Kalen Ponga will be going out, and it'll be a straight swap for Reece Walsh. I net myself 200-something K there by doing that. And then I'm going to look at the young Canberra boy there. Far out, I forgot his fucking name. Ethan Strange, sorry. Ethan Strange will be coming out for me. I'll be moving Luke Brooks from my half down into my 5'8 spot, and then I'll be buying Nathan Cleary. Like I said throughout the podcast, look, Reece Walsh wasn't really the guy that I was hoping to get. I was more keen on Pappenhausen, and I'd be even more keen on a Drinkwater. But if I can get a guy like Reece Walsh for 616k and then bring Cleary in as well, I've potentially bought in 2 guns for a guy that's out for the season, albeit he was a gun, for Ethan Strange, who I'm not confident at all that he is going to go ballistic with all these points. I'm a little bit worried about him. So, yeah, that works really good for my side. I'm really, really happy with how we're looking. Yeah, so fingers crossed we can just stay injury-free and we'll be happy days. But anyway, guys, that's all from us. Thanks again. Take care, legends. All the best for round 8.